WFMJ TV, Youngstown.
This is 21 Action News at 11 with Glenn Stevens, Susan DeLeo, AccuWeather with Melissa Marsh, and Dana Balish on sports.
Good evening. Mahoning County Sheriff Ed Nemeth says no to a plan by Youngstown's mayor to rid city streets of prostitutes.
But the mayor says he will move ahead with his plans anyway. 21's Ernie Freeman has the update.
Mayor Ongaro wants to eliminate scenes like this, known prostitutes soliciting johns on Market Street. According to the mayor, the reason the prostitutes don't go away is the overcrowded county jail, leaving nowhere to put them.
Right now, there's no fear of enforcement or the law, so it's kind of a joke. It doesn't take long for them to figure out they're going to get arrested, and they get out the next day and they're back out on the street.
Frustrated by the revolving door justice system, Ongaro came up with a plan about a month ago that would ship convicted prostitutes to jails outside the city, as far away as Dayton. The plan would cost city taxpayers $65 per day per prisoner and calls for the assistance of the sheriff's department.
Run a sweep, pick them all up, bring them to the judges. I talked to Judge Levy and Judge Polovestchak, and we were going to send them away for like 30 days or 60 days, just to clean it up once and for all, and I still plan on doing that, one way or another, with the sheriff's help or without his help.
He's probably going to have to do it without the sheriff's help. 2 weeks ago, Nemeth rejected Ongaro's plan, saying it was unconstitutional in that it singled out prostitutes.
Despite Nemeth's refusal to help, Ongaro says he's forging ahead with plans to clean up Market Street. That's welcome news for merchants and people who use this main artery every day and have to deal with walking eyesores.
But for the time being, people who use Market Street will have to deal with the streetwalkers, and the situation isn't likely to change until construction of a minimum security jail is completed. Target date, the end of the year. In Youngstown, Ernie Freeman, 21 Action News Update.
Now, the mayor says he will try to meet with the sheriff in the near future to try to get him to change his mind.
A Warren man avoids a trial and possible death sentence by pleading guilty to murdering his ex-wife. 59-year-old Samuel Young stands before the judge. He admits that he shot his former wife, Ruby, outside a doctor's office in Warren last February, just 2 weeks after the couple's divorce. The victim's son says Young should pay for the crime with his life.
And I can feel what everybody goes through that has a loved one murdered or shot or mangled or whatever. The sentence is just not strong enough. It doesn't do enough. If they had my way, they'd be tied to a post in City Hall and whipped to death, stoned to death, or whatever.
For his guilty plea, Young was sentenced to life in prison and won't be eligible for parole until he's 77 years old.
The head of Community Corrections in Youngstown has been cleared of allegations of improper spending of state grant money. Executive Director Dr. Richard Billick, who labeled the whole matter politically motivated, called a news conference to set the record straight.
This agency is not mismanaged. It cares very much not only for the clients we work with, but for the staff that do so much for so little. At this point in time, the only thing I'm able to say is that we will pursue those that try to destroy us.
In the last election, Billick was an active supporter of Democrats for Change in Mahoning County.
The edge between peace and lawlessness is narrowing. Austintown police believe they need more ammunition to widen it. The department is asking for a $2.4 million levy in November. That would free up money from the general fund to be used for projects like flooding. But at the same time, the school's asking for money too. A $5.8 million levy on the ballot for a second time.
Naturally, I'm concerned. I would hope that the people weren't going to the polls and just say no across the board. I hope that the people aren't going to the polls and just say, well, I'll take the lesser of the two.
I don't say that we look forward, and nor are we looking forward to being in competition with. I think it's up to the public to determine what they want from their community and what they want from their schools.
At a trustees meeting last night, people said they're worried the money raised might be squandered. Construction teams are working to fix mistakes made by the Ohio Department of Transportation.
Agency errors made on local bridge construction are costing taxpayers thousands of dollars. 21's Dennison Keller explains.
The bridges were supposed to remain solid and crack-free for the next 50 years. But not even 12 months after their construction, the pavement on these overpasses is already breaking apart. The reason? Basic oversights made by the Ohio Department of Transportation.
When we review the plans, we usually catch those things, but in that instance, it wasn't observed.
ODOT's mistakes were twofold. Initially, the agency forgot to order a liquid sealant for 3 bridges along Route 11. The sealant protects the structures from splitting and cracking. Secondly, it underestimated the time required to complete the bridge's construction. So when workers uncovered their first mistake, it was too late in the year and too cold to effectively apply the sealant. The cost to taxpayers to repair the problem is $30,000, prompting ODOT to change its construction policy.
Specify an earlier completion date, and if it means that we can't award a contract for another year because we didn't get the plans ready early enough in the spring, we'll wait another year.
Although the additional construction can lead to some traffic slowdowns now, it should not affect the Canfield Fair. ODOT officials say they will suspend work on the bridges during the Labor Day weekend and then pick up the project again during the second week of September. Dennis and Keller, 21 Action News Update.
Now, ODOT says there's no danger to motorists who cross the bridges. The agency insists that while the pavement may be a bit bumpy, the foundation of the overpasses are structurally sound.
While ODOT repairs the Route 11 bridges, other construction crews will be working on Presidential Drive off of South Avenue. The road will be closed beginning tomorrow at 6 in the morning. Workers will be widening the Presidential and South intersection. Residents in the area are asked to use the Eisenhower Drive entrance at State Route 224. Construction teams hope to finish the job by Friday night at 6 o'clock.
Well, there's a big change coming to Youngstown City Schools this fall. We'll show you what that is.
And we'll tell you about job possibilities at this year's Canfield Fair.